Welcome to the fault interpretation session in PyloScan 2016. Fault interpretation is a very complex and tedious task which requires lots of time and expertise. So in this session we will see how we will use the information given by the volume attributes either from the seismic or the relative geological time model, surface attributes, and thanks to the color blending how we can combine these different types of informations. Then we'll see how we can interpret faults by picking them interactively. First, we'll see how we can use attributes, volume attributes, coming from the seismic. So we're going to look at a very complex case study located in Western Australia shelf. And we will compute different types of attributes like similarity, deep angle, curvature, variance, and a more complex attribute called fault probability, which aims to detect the fault breakpoints. So in a live demonstration, generally in software, you just have to open a cube, and by using cross-navigation system in PyloScan, we can slice through the data and quickly see the fault occurrence. So to compute an attribute, it's very simple. You just have to select the type of attribute in this window, and then select here on the top all the volume attributes. For the variance, for instance, we just select the input data, and then place the point somewhere at the center of the window, like this, and then by just clicking on preview we will compute on fly the attribute, and as you can see here the variance enhances very clearly the main fault where you have the main signal discontinuities. However, subtle faults like this one cannot always be seen by the variance. It's a problem that we generally encounter with such attribute. So you can also preview the variance in time slice like that on the fly. You just have to place the same way the point. And as you can see here, we can still see the main discontinuities, but not all the fault planes which is detected by the variance. So this is a limitation of this attribute. So that's why what we have done recently, we have developed a fault probability attribute, which is actually based on the variance and consists in detecting the maximum breakpoints of each fault plane. So when you use this attribute, you just have to do the same way, place a point somewhere, and then by previewing the attribute like that in real time, in cross-section, you can see like that, of course, the main faults, which can be detected, and the twisted effect is actually due to the seismic effects. So generally, this attribute is mainly used to track the main faults, which can be a help for the interpreter to not miss any fault during the picking phase. So the same way, if you apply this attribute on a time slice like this, you can have a very clear fault skeleton, and we can see here the junction of the fault, which could not be seen on the variance in the previous phase. Now we're going to look at a different type of attribute based on the relative geological time model. So we'll see how we can use the model information, which is of course not depending anymore on the seismic. And by applying different derivatives, we will compute like that the deep variations, azimuth, and also the curvature. And more complex attribute which will detect the deepest descent gradient to analyze the fault throw. To illustrate these slides, we will start with the calculation of the absolute dip from a geological time model obtained without any fault interpretation. As realized before, the preview is performed in the neighborhood of the mouse cursor. We can see already, just by moving the color bar, already clear faults, and now by previewing the deep angle, we can see clear and continuous fault planes where the maximum of dip is highlighted in blue. Another very interesting way to visualize and understand the fault and also their throw is to compute the deepest descent gradient, which computes fault breakpoints in the maximum deep directions. As you can see on the preview mode, the deepest descent gradient tracks subtle faults that cannot be seen on classical seismic data. So high value of throw are highlighted by the red colors in this preview mode. Generally, we look at this attribute as a cube, and then slice like that upward and downward the different time slices like this. So if we overlay on the variance the fault probability, we see that these attributes, which are both seismic based, will enhance the main fault planes, and we generally use these automatic attributes as a help for the interpreter to pick the faults. Even though these attributes show a twisted effect of the fault, it will be a strong help for the interpreter to be sure to not miss any fault. So that's very raw information. So now if we just switch off these attributes and we look at the model attributes, the same way that we can see the deep variations, which shows of course the main faults which have the greatest deep angle. in a blue color, like this. And again, by slicing my seismic background, we can see that the dip is very sensitive to the fault. And the same way that if you put down the deepest descent gradient, we can see the fault trends and the fault extrema values, where the red values show the maximum throw of the fault on each fault plane. So we use this attribute very much, and to first have a filter of the fault planes and also detect the maximum throw of the fault. Another way to compare attributes is to use a volume blender, where you can drop like this input volumes, either the seismic or any attribute. So the first parameter here is volume 1, and then volume 2 is second parameter, and the color bar has two colors, and you can initialize, of course, the color bar, and we can like that see, for instance, the fault probability which is overlaid on the seismic data, which shows very clearly all the fault trends. The same way that you can put like that the variance and co-blend the different data, where you can clearly see here the different faults and time slice also. The variance is generally very useful to have a first image of the main faults, which appears very clearly on this section. Now, if we compare the seismic data with a geomodel attribute like the deep angle, the same way, the blender, volume blender is a very useful tool, and we can clearly see here the maximum deep angle for each fault plane, and on the time slice as well, and the same exercise can be done also on deepest descent gradient, which enhances very clearly a maximum throw. Surface attributes are also very interesting to analyze to detect subtle faults. What is interesting is to, of course, detect the deep variations and also the deepest descent gradient. The exercise is exactly the same. You can color blend the horizon stack instead of volume, so you can just put the horizon stack, like here the RMS amplitude maps, and then by co-blending with the coherency attribute, which is much more fault related. Right here, we're going to move the horizon stack directly to the reservoir level, where we slice down like this continuously to the reservoir level, which is a turbidite channel right here. We can clearly see on the map view here on the left that we have a very nice bright channel, and turbidite channel made of sands in this specific zone, which is crossed by major faults, which can be definitely enhanced by the coherency attribute. So just by moving the mouse, you can clearly follow the channel, and now sliding the cursor to the coherency, you will see now the fault network, which is much more clearly enhanced on this section. Generally, what is also interesting is, instead of looking at volume attributes, is to compute in real time surface attributes like deep variations. And now, when we move the slider, you will be able to enhance the deep variations, which are only computed on the surface, and which will enhance, of course, the subtle faults that cannot be seen easily from the seismic data itself. And if you look at the deepest descent gradient, you will be able to have a first ID of the throw of the fault, and also detect subtle faults that cannot be seen clearly either on the coherency or the variance attribute. So generally, this exercise can be done also in 3D. You just have to take the same surface, and then by co-blending, you can mix two types of data. And here we can visualize the RMS amplitude maps, and also the fault network enhanced by the deepest descent gradient. And moving like that upward and downward, you will be able to check the fault consistency onto each surface. Now we're going to see how we can do a decomposition of the attributes in three colors: green, blue, CMY, HSL, or HSV. So this is very simple. You just have to open a volume blender with 3 channels and drop the different types of information you want in a different window like this. Okay, so now we are going to show the variance, the deep, and the azimuth, for instance, on the same window like this. And thanks to this RGB, you can already see the main faults. So generally, for the faults, the best decomposition is to use the CMY, where you can see like that much more clearly the main fault trends. So this window is very flexible, interactive. You can communicate with a real seismic viewer, but also look at data also in a time slice. Generally, for the faults, this is where you can clearly see the faults, and it's intersecting in real time the seismic section. You can switch channels easily by just sliding the window and ping one to another one. And you can also change the channel contrast by playing with the color bar. So each section can be also put in 3D. So each surface with the decomposition is done in 3D. And then you can do the same way, slice like that, for instance, time slice upward and downward using this type of decomposition. Another way to analyze the data is to do it onto the horizon stack. So you can apply the same decomposition by just putting as input the different horizon stack with different attributes. In this specific case, we're going to look at the coherency, the RMS amplitude, and the chaos, for instance. And what is interesting here is that you look at this decomposition onto each surface, and you can move like that continuously through the different horizons and go directly to this reservoir level. Now I'm switching back to my CMY mode, where you can clearly see, of course, the channel, which is highlighted by this decomposition. And also you can see the main faults. The last way to analyze data is to use the alpha blending, where we just color blend the different color bars, which are not true colors, but pure 8-bit color bars with 256 colors. Then you just have to go on each channel, select the right color bar, and then co-blend on this viewer here on the right side. What is also interesting to do is to compute like that on the fly surface attributes. So now I'm mixing the coherency, the RMS amplitude, and the chaos on the same window to visualize where I have the faults on the channel. And by using this way where you can like that change the attributes and the color bar from one attribute to the other one just by sliding this point onto the triangle right here. So here I'm just, for instance, showing the data, the deepest descent gradient, the RMS amplitude, and also the variance on the same surface, which is at the reservoir level. So this exercise can also be done in 3D, where you can like that mix the three types of information the same way, and then use the color blend with the three colors like this, the same way, and of course you can see clearly the main fault with the reservoir level. We use all these attributes now to interpret fault patches. So to pick these patches, this is very simple. You just have to load and to open different attributes, like here the seismic section and the variance. Generally, the variance, we put it in time slice to look at the different fault network. Then you can use the fault picking tool. Very simple. As soon as you start picking a tool, a fault viewer will be open with a 3D viewer. And then the interpreter can pick like that fault sticks. In real time, as soon as you pick fault stick, you can visualize on the fault viewer the fault plane, and also in 3D the fault surface, which is built in real time. So as soon as you pick, you can like that interactively control the shape of the picking, and if there is any wrong interpretation, you can come back and erase it interactively. So in this case, the interpreter has picked and created one fault patch, and then you can continue picking and create another patch like that. Generally, we use the time slice view and to make sure that we pick the right faults and to make sure that we connect properly the different fault patches. So that's very simple to create a patch and to, of course, check that on the time slice view. And then these faults have different methods to be meshed. So it can be used the minimum envelope or the convex envelope, which is in the property window. You can also display in 3D and the fault sticks if you want. So all the fault patches can be saved in one single file, which is called the fault set. And now we're going to load like that all the raw patches which were interpreted within 2 weeks' time in this specific data set. So this workflow is a quick way to pick fault patches. So to give you an idea, 1,000 fault patches were interpreted in 2 weeks' time only. And you can also control the quality of the picking on the different images and the different attributes. So at this level, the StereoNet filter using deep azimut is very important. You can interactively filter all the faults according to the azimut, the deep angle, but also the size of the faults. So for the size of the fault, you have like that this histogram of value, or you can type a minimum size. For instance, we are just looking at fault with a minimum size. So generally, we look at a specific type of fault in a certain direction, and now we're going to merge them in a semi-automatic way. So for that, we use a fault assistant, which will select and detect the faults having the best coplanarity and the shortest distance. And the interpreter can then check using the preview mode if these faults are good to be merged or not. So that's why we always ask the interpreter to double check and before merging and to preview the result of the merge before accepting. So this process is relatively interactive and relatively fast because you can like that control what you do, and then step by step you can converge towards very large fault planes and control the merging process, which is a very crucial step in the interpretation workflow. So to create a watertight model, generally it is useful to cut the faults according to certain stratigraphic discontinuity. So for that we use the horizon stack. We bring upward to the specific discontinuity, like this. We can just select all the faults and then the top horizon, for instance. And we have like that the tool where we can cut the top faults using this specific surface. So the fault cut will remove the upper part of the fault, and this is very useful to create a watertight model. Then we can also bring this surface to the lower limit by sliding down the horizon stack again. And the same way, select all the faults and a specific horizon, and now make the lower cut of the fault using the next button. So now we have a very clean fault planes. Okay, we have removed the part which will not be reliable. And then we can decide to, for instance, map specific attribute like the fault throw onto each fault plane. So for that, you just select the fault, and then as soon as you select the attribute, this attribute will be mapped onto the fault plane. We can see here on the fault viewer the fault throw, okay, the distribution of the throw onto this fault plane. And by using cross navigation system, we can directly point on maximum of throw of the fault, okay. And of course, the viewer is very interactive with the color bar. What is also interesting is to map the mapping of the throw in 3D. So we just have to drop or to use the context menu to put the false throw onto the 3D viewer, and then you'll be able to see the throw in 3D. So we have seen the importance of the attributes to interpret faults. So these attributes can be generated either from the seismic data or from the relative logical time model. They give very important information to the interpreter to pick the fault patches. So we also use the horizon stack with instantaneous attribute like a deep variations, azimuth, but also deepest descent gradient to enhance subtle faults. And by multi-directional picking, the interpreter can pick different fault patches in a very quick way. And interactively, all these patches can be merged with a fault merging tool assistant. Thank you very much for watching this video. Will you need any more information? You can directly go on our website.